The 2018 MotoOption Supercross Series live here on SYS TV. I apologize for that. My computer blue screened. I can't really control that, unfortunately. Everything was running totally fine, and then blammo. So thank you to MotoGogo and chat for keeping everybody updated as they entered and came back and so on and so forth. And speaking of MotoGogo, did you guys know that if you don't want to race pro, you can race the Amateur Series on Sunday nights, the North American Amateur MotoOption Supercross Series, which the lovely MotoGogo just won his first career 250 West main event last week. So kudos to him, right on for that. But in general, you guys can check it out. Go to mxscmf.com. Click all the links on the side and either get your brought points or check out the series itself and figure out how you could get signed up for it if you already have your brought points and have bought your pass. But tonight, it's all about the Pro Series, the North American Pro MotoOption Supercross Series, and MXSEMF North America Series, of course. So we'll be bringing you guys action here for the next 2-ish hours. And I might be joined by Chris Riesenberg at some point, but as of right now, it seems not to be the case. So we're going to go ahead and just run solo for a bit. But again, thanks to everybody that is tuned in again tonight. I apologize for the issues. I think I've got it sorted now, but you never know with people sneaking 4K skins into these packs. It seemed like my computer blue screened because I went from streaming a raw media file to trying to pop open Sim simultaneously, and I already time out of Sim enough as it is. I'm pretty much on the cusp of running out of virtual memory every time I load Sim. So I think I probably just pushed my virtual memory up over the top, and it must have just completely crashed my computer. I don't know. I can't come up with any other reason because right when I clicked on Sim is when it died. So yeah, I don't think that's going to be too big of a problem now that we've made it into the server. And we're going to get racing here in just a minute. Of course, first up tonight is going to be the 450-250 combined Consolation race, which I think will happen soon. I'm not sure if they've grabbed UIDs yet or not. But this race will be for the riders who qualified outside of the top 40 in both classes, which actually is a couple people this week. Last week, 250 times were cut smack dab on the 40 mark. There wasn't anybody beyond 40th who even ran a lap time. So we have about 7 guys on the outside looking in this week, so it's a little unfortunate for them. And in the 450 class, we actually have 13 guys on the outside looking in. So actually we have a potential to have a 20-man consolation race, which would be kind of neat. I really would like to see 250Fs versus 450s on this track and what it's like. So that'll be kind of cool to see. Doesn't mean anything for these guys coming up. Unfortunately, they don't get a chance to make it into the actual main events tonight, but it's still a good little race. Gives them kind of, their money's worth of racing for the night. So that'll be fun to kick things off. And then, of course, tonight is the first round of the Triple Crown Series. I believe the other 2 rounds are at Atlanta and St. Louis, but I could be wrong. And yeah, the Triple Crown format. So those of you that are new to MotoOption Supercross, or really just new to this Triple Crown format in general, will have no idea anything about this. But if you've ever watched the real-life Monster Energy Cup, or in this game, the MX Simulator Cup, it's basically that format tonight. The only difference is with that format, the 3 main event format had the exact same race length for all 3 races. That is not going to be the case tonight. As you may have seen in the pre-race show before my computer crashed, the 250 guys are going to be racing the first main event. Both classes are doing it tonight. 250 West will be racing 3 main events. 450 guys will be racing 3 main events. The 250 first main event is pretty much a heat race. It's 6 minutes plus a lap. It'll feature 22 of the fastest riders on the track, so it's really kind of like a heat race on steroids. But they will be, in play for trying to get points. They don't earn points based off of that single race. They earn points based off of their overall finish when combined scores are factored. So I believe it's like Olympic style scoring. If you go 1-1-1, you get 3 points and win the night, meaning you get 26 points total because it's as if you won one main event. It's a little confusing. We'll try to continuously update you guys on that whole situation and what exactly that means as we go on. But it's going to be a little bit hard for us to keep track of who's exactly winning and what's happening, but we can let you guys know exactly the race distances and kind of how the format will go on throughout the night. So again, Consolation race will be up first. It looks like they just started posting stuff, which that is the LCQs that were just posted. Now the LCQs will come after the Consolation race, unlike a normal night of MotoOption Supercross where we see the LCQs after all the heat races have been ran. The LCQ is pretty much the first real race of the night. The Consolation race, obviously these guys aren't really fighting for anything other than pride. So when it really matters is the LCQ, because these guys are trying to make it into the race for points. It is going to be qualifiers 23 to 40. I'm sorry, 19 to 40. So 22 riders vying for those 4 final spots to make the 22-man gate in the 3 main events earlier tonight. So a little bit like the Consolation race, these guys will race LCQ, and it's all or nothing right up front. It's not like a heat race where if you miss out and finish in 13th in the heat race, at least you have the chance in the LCQ. Nope. LCQs are up first tonight for these guys. It's going to throw a lot of pressure onto these guys real quick. Might give them a little bit more track time, a little bit more experience on the road, because in the first main event, anybody who qualified inside of the top 18 will be seeing the track for the first time with a road on. So I don't know. It might not be that bad of a situation if those guys actually end up getting a little bit more track time, but obviously we'll see how that goes. On the line appears to be the 250 LCQ. Or maybe it's could be the Consolation race. Everybody's on a 250, which is why I'm confused. But maybe it's the Consolation race. It seems to be, judging by the riders that are in the race. I think it's the Consolation race, but I think that they're on the wrong amount of laps. A little bit of a bummer to see Spencer Turley end up in the Consolation race this week. Normally a pretty consistent main event guy, not going to make it through, obviously, because he will be done after this race tonight. Jack Zars is a big name. Austin Bear's pretty quick. You end up seeing a lot of guys that you don't normally expect to see ending up in these races. One such person that I saw was Sabrina Ritzler, who's just on the gate right there. She actually made the Fast 40 last week in Houston. And a lot of really fast guys didn't make the Fast 40. So Sabrina not making it tonight, a little bit of a bummer for her. But obviously we'll still get to see her in this race. So these guys, again, they're just out on their parade lap. This is actually, my apologies, but this is the first time I'm seeing my cameras in use, so I'm kind of doing a little bit of scanning. Everything was done pretty late tonight, but I got it all finished in time, I think. And everything would have been so perfectly ran, but my gall darn computer done blue screened. I think that's okay though. I think by next week I should have my PC completely built. The only thing I'm waiting on is my graphics card, but everything else is here. I'm gonna probably build it this weekend, and obviously a graphics card you can pretty much just plug in from the backside of the motherboard and mount it to the back of the computer, and it's pretty much plug and play at that point. So almost there. We'll have my new PC hopefully next week. If it's not next week, it's because my graphics card didn't get here, so at least you know why. I'm not using OBS MotoGoGo. I'm using Share/Shadowplay because OBS still kills my game frames. And some of you may notice we're not streaming on YouTube yet. I had promised that we would be streaming simultaneously on YouTube, do a simulcast. That will still happen. I'm kind of waiting on, building my new PC and seeing how that can handle everything before I try to do it on my old PC. So just hold tight. I promise you we'll get there. All right, we are loaded in. Looks like everybody's on the gate that should be. And in fact, before we get this underway, I just want to turn my game volume up a little bit because these guys are a little quiet. But here we go. Consolation race from Anaheim to, we got about 12 guys taken off the line. And 1 girl, I should say. 11 guys and a girl. And into turn 1, it's everybody's favorite dude. Spencer Turley gets the hole shot in front of the locomotive Peter Leicht. Dylan Copeland's up here in the mix. Yeah, to be honest with you, Turley is the best rider in this Consolation race. Just being honest, so I'd fully expect him to maybe try to pull away here, but Peter Leicht's already given it to him and actually gives him a nudge and takes over the lead. Thought he was going to case a triple there, but hangs on to it. So Peter Leicht, the locomotive, leads from Spencer Turley, Ethan Parks. Another thing that I'd like to touch on tonight, as you guys can see, it looks like the lighting. Oh, both your leaders down, Leicht and Turley, as Parks lands on top of Peter Leicht and takes over the race lead. You will notice that the lighting on the riders tonight is very harsh, I guess would be the right way to put it. Coming at you, Ethan Parks' right side is very vibrant and his left side is not. Vice versa here. That's because the MXS EMF track crew this week decided to take an alternate approach to dealing with erode visibility. We've had a lot of riders complaining in the last couple weeks about, you know, erode has been working, but it takes until about the 10th or 11th lap of the main for lines to be super visible, because that's when they're starting to get deep. So to combat that, they've decided to go with a harsher lighting so you can maybe see some of those lines that have dug in a little bit earlier in the main event. It still might be a little bit of a vision issue. Aesthetically, it doesn't look great to have this lighting, but I think that's just what we're going to have to deal with in order to be able to see these guys and then be able to see erode effectively. So we'll try it out tonight and see how it goes. But again, these guys, Consolation, racing it up. 8 minutes plus 1 lap on the track. These guys, usually I think the Consolation race just as kind of added funness to this race. I think they normally run on a higher road setting. Definitely at Anaheim 1 they ran on 4, so everything was really deep. They may actually have slimmed it back down to just running on 2, so it's not rutting out as gnarly as it was at Anaheim necessarily, but it is still giving these guys maybe a little bit deeper of a shade. So Turley is currently trying to run down Ethan Parks for the lead. It's not quite there yet, as Dylan Copeland has moved up into the number 3 ride. Peter Leicht is crashing his way out of 4th, and Brina just cleans out. I don't know who that was. I can't. Logan Heagney. I don't think she meant to do that, because she tried to come to a complete stop to let him have the outside line, but Heagney had already made up his mind he was going to cut underneath, and it was just a battle of 2 people with separate ideas molding into one on the racetrack. So now Jack Zars is going to go to work on Heggs, and he's going to make that pass because the 130 machine, the Australian pilot, jumps off the track. So Zars will continue to go after Ritzler as Copeland sends it into the hoops. So Turley's still not making too many headways yet at Ethan Parks. Both of these guys, like I said, are former main event racers. I mean, I don't know how to put it, but last year both of these guys were actually pretty consistently at least in quite a few main events. So unfortunately for them, they are not even in the night show tonight, technically speaking. But they're still out here putting on a good little show. Honestly, Parks looks like he's actually gapping Turley just a little bit. And he's riding really smooth, although he's got some Magic Manning stuff going on here. His internet is no good. Oh, cases this rhythm section. That's going to allow Turley to close back in. And Turley rips the quad. Actually OJ'd it, but still is able to corral his KX450 into the corner. As he is trying to go after Parks for this consolation race win. Parks has had the 558 machine right in front of him for quite some time here. Oh, and he goes down, so fortunately doesn't ruin a potential good battle for the lead. These guys are actually looking pretty good. Again, I often wonder, oh, Turley jumps off the track. I often wonder the mindset perhaps going through these guys as they're out here racing, knowing how comfortable they look on the track and the fact that they're actually not in the official racing program tonight. It's got to be a little bit of a bummer as Parks has dumped it. Turley goes for the quad, OJ's it again. So Parks is going to have to regroup and try to go after him. Brina not making much headway there on Copeland just yet. Now she's stuck in the bales for the Supercross triple. Heekney's kind of all alone. Peter Lik is trying to run him down. And our first 250F machine of Brandon Cummings runs in the 7 spot. So we kind of work our way back to the field. Another 250F of Jack Gatlin, TM Factory Racing's own. Joey Nielsen of Pogo, kind of OG MX Simulator team. A lot of more well-known people in the community, I guess, around there. Austin Bear, Vital MX Racing, is behind Dylan Copeland. So really the 450s seem to have quite the advantage. They're all way ahead of the 250F guys. Tyler Swigard, Jack Zars has called it an evening. Dylan Gatlin, Neil Wells never left the gate. It's pretty much a run through the field in this consolation race. Up front, Spencer Turley, though, he's got 2 more laps to go. So Turley grabbed the lead a lap and a half ago or so and has not looked back, has pulled out to a comfortable yet modest about 5-6 second lead here on Ethan Parks. Parks, to his credit, is not backing down from the challenge. He is really still charging here. Like to make another run at Turley if he can. Let's see what lap times he's able to put down though to get there. 5.5 seconds is the gap, and nobody is close behind them. Dylan Copeland a further 22 seconds behind Parks. There's a rider down. That was Jack Gatlin. Parks is going to try to work around him. Gatlin stuffs him in the corner, but I don't think he really knew that he was coming. Parks is jumping off the track. That's going to kill some of his time. Gatlin is trying to let him go. And there, so he does. Just receiving some questions in chat that I feel like I should at least answer a little bit. Checkers should possibly be joining me later on this evening. I would assume most likely for the main events. Of course, RaceTech's own Chris Riesenberg, aka Checkers448, usually joins us on the broadcast here, but life's been a little bit more stacked for him as of late, given that he now has 4 children to take care of. So he can't always make it. Tell you who's making it work for him up front, though, is number 61 machine of Spencer Turley. Takes that spot from Ethan Parks and goes on to win the consolation race. So Turley makes a little bit of happiness from a night that maybe he'd rather have been in the actual races, but still maybe had a little bit of fun racing this one. Look at Copeland's, almost got that quad triple, which would be, in my opinion, a lot faster than going 34 as Ritzler crashes in the same spot, but she will not lose a spot to Peter Lik. And yes, another question in chat about, is the consolation race just for people to have a race to have fun in so that they don't feel like they paid for nothing? And the answer to that question is yes. I know on my own team, don't mean to call him out, but Cody Dar did not make, I think he made one night show last year in the pro class. Struggled all year to get in, unfortunately for him, but this is kind of right up his alley. He actually did make the night show tonight. He's going to be in the LCQ coming up here in a minute, so at least that worked out for him. But last year struggled to make it in, so at least he would have had a race to run if that happened to him again. Give me 1 second. There we go. All right, so the Consolation race is out of the way, and I think you guys all know what's coming up next. Maybe, just maybe, this is going to be some of the best racing of the night, because these guys are going to have their first real crack at this track with the road and everything on it, and it's the last chance qualifier. I mean, it's kind of a big deal. You want to race 35 minutes of main events tonight? Got to make it through the last chance qualifier. So, kind of a little bit on the line for these guys. The 251 will be up first. They will go 4 minutes plus 1 lap. And the top 4 only out of 22 riders will transfer on to the main events. Again, if you're just joining us, tonight is the first round of the Triple Crown format. So 3 main events in both classes tonight. First main event in the 250 West Division will go 6 minutes plus a lap, but we're still about 20 to 25 minutes away from seeing that race be ran. We have to get through those last chance qualifiers first. But I'm kind of rubbing my hands together on this one because I think these races are going to be really good. Unlike in the heat races where everything's kind of settled in and everybody's just kind of starting off and getting their feet wet a little bit, there's going to be a lot of pretty fast guys in these LCQs that are going to want to make it in. And yeah, we'll see what happens. I'm kind of excited. I timed out though. Of course. It's okay. It's just a parade lap for these guys, so I think I'll be able to join back in before they get going. Yep, still just a parade lap. Oh, so many 252 strokes out there. Gotta love it. 252 strokes permitted into the 250F class last year. That was a Race Factory Gaming rule change. One that MXS EMF felt should stay the same this year and not have to change it again. So that's why you'll hear a little bit of bumblebees ripping around the track tonight. But hey, I like it. I ride a 252 stroke in real life, so see a little bit more of the two smoking. Mixing gas and hauling. Yeah, you guess what I could go for there. All right, here we go. 250 last chance qualifier. I mean, we're only 30 minutes into the racing and we're already at the LCQs. Ah, love it. Thinking it's going to be a 2-stroke that's going to get the whole shot, so I want to select somebody that's on one. Don't want to pick my own teammates. I mean, Zach Dupuis is in a pretty opportune position here. So here we go. Last chance qualifier racing. Anaheim 250 West gate is down. And again, those 252 strokes powering down into turn 1. And Dupuis does get to the corner side by side with his teammate Cody Dar. I guess I did get a good pick there. Look at all those SYSC Yamahas in the mix. Robert Wilson, Nathan Zaworski, Tyler Fry, Jake Warden, Roy Mitchell, Dakota French, Trevor Doiron. Lots of guys I see that are normal main event guys are mixed in right here. Look at all these 2-strokes up front as Zach Dupuis leads the way. Cody Dar trying to go for the triple as Robert Wilson has taken over the 3rd place position from Zaworski. He's got to feel like he's just in a big old sandwich here with all these 2-strokes. And Wilson coming across the track. Dar jumps off the side of the track, so he's going to go back out of a transfer spot as Zaworski continues to battle it out with Wilson. Actually, Dar got up still in a transfer spot, so guys went down behind him. Reese Harris with maybe the worst track re-entry of the year takes out so many guys. The only guy to get through there was Charles Gable. Oh my goodness, who was the actual kind of surprise of the opening round. Finished in 7th, if I remember correctly. So he's not going to want to miss out on the programs here tonight. It looks like Wilson must have gone down before the finish, because now it's again all 3 SYS Racing Yamahas out front. So chaos has ensued. Riders still going down as Mitchell dumps it and Jacob Hubbard goes through. Mitchell trying to remount. Charles Gable is going to want to catch Robert Wilson. Wilson trying to track down Cody Darr, but Wilson does have that last transfer spot. Someone is off the side of the track. Oh! There was a red flag apparently. Not sure what the red flag was for. Duraco was in warm-up. Oh man, so we got to do it all over again. Poor old Derek Duraco ruins everything. We'll look at Zach Dupuis again just because he got such a good start last time, but it might go all wrong this time. And the gate is down for the real LCQ, I believe. 250F on the inside as Zach got a much better start, and it caused just an absolute chaos mess because he cut over and clipped Dupuis. Now a bunch of riders went down in the first corner. And Ty Smith comes out with the lead. Donovan, Gustavo, Deniz, and Dupuis does make amends for that mix-up on the start there. But it has shuffled everything around. So all these guys that were not even close on the first start get another shot at it and are trying to make the best of it. Chase Donovan's had somewhat of a roller coaster couple of weeks. Second in the 250 West race at, I believe that was Anaheim 1 at the EU Series, as Ty Smith jumps off the track, so Donovan takes over the lead. Donovan's also had a couple bad rounds as Deniz now comes through. Doiron, Jack Fowler, Josh Mertens. So we got a good mix of guys kind of all settling in here. Robert Wilson, who was in the top 4, is now buried, as is Nathan Zaworski. Max Spokes trying to come through. Zach Dupuis. A lot of guys need a lot of luck now. But I guess in their case, it's not all bad because there's still a really close battle up front. And anything can happen with these guys. Some of these guys looking awfully uncomfortable up here. Deniz having all kinds of troubles. Potentially, this is red flagged as well. Oh yeah, so they're saying that this race is the improper amount of laps. It's actually 6 minutes plus a lap. It should be 4 minutes plus a lap. So Chase Donovan, who is your race host, and coincidentally enough, your race leader, probably is not going to pull over to try to fix that, so don't think we're going to see another red flag, especially with your race host in the lead. Couldn't imagine what would have happened if he got a good start the first one. It's usually why the race host doesn't race. And oh, Donovan goes down, so Deniz goes through with Ty Smith. Donovan's going to try to get going as his teammate Doiron sneaks by. Jack Fowler's right there. Robert Wilson coming through. There's just a plethora of guys with Zaworski sneaking in from behind as well. Look at all these riders just grouped together. And they're all going for the same spot, essentially. Doiron, and what happened to Donovan? Did he put his own teammate over the berm? Are you kidding me? No love lost. Doiron says no thank you, Mr. Donovan. So So now that puts Kevin Gonzalez in the final transfer spot as he's going after Doiron. And remember, now that this race is a little bit longer, I don't know if these guys realize it quite yet, that they're not going to get the white flag for potentially 2 more laps. Well, this race seems to be filled with some controversy, but unfortunately for the MXS EMF guys, it would not be the first time this year they've faced controversy. The biggest problem at the opening round, if you guys can remember back, Tyson Fresquez was not getting his lap times counted, and he was in a qualifying server, so they extended qualifying 30 minutes to figure it out. And they did end up figuring out he wasn't a qualifying server. They just didn't have the server registered, so they extended qualifying by 30 minutes. They stopped qualifying the 30 minutes after, but for about 10 to 15 minutes after that, before they were able to grab UIDs, qualifying times continued to count. So several riders who were inside of the 30 to 40 range suddenly got bumped by guys who were still hot lapping in servers, and that caused a big old uproar on the forums. So Ty Smith again is leading. It looks like he's going to come to 2 laps to go next time by. I don't think he'll be able to crank out a couple 48s here. Deniz is trying to stick with him, but not really quite there yet. Then we got Kevin Gonzalez and Trevor Doiron. They are 4 and 3, technically speaking, as I mentioned them, but Josh Mertens isn't terribly close. Excuse me. Jack Fowler, Dakota French, Nathan Zaworski, James Schuler. Again, lots of guys that I would assume expect to be in are looking out right now. Ty Smith is still trying to hold on to this thing out front. Smith is looking awful smooth. Deniz has looked really rough around the edges, but he's kept it on 2 wheels for the most part, which is really what needs to be done when you're in this kind of position. Doiron still has Kevin Gonzalez breathing down his neck, but it doesn't look like they're willing to really make any moves on each other. Now they have caught Deniz as Ty Smith takes the white flag. So all 4 of these guys look like they're pretty well separated. Jack Fowler is the closest guy with a possibility to get there. He's bringing Dakota French, Nathan Zaworski, and James Schuler with him. But they have to somehow get to Kevin Gonzalez, and so far Doiron, Deniz, or Gonzalez have not made any real big mistake or sign of any real big mistake either. And they all look pretty clean through the whoops. Doiron looked like he was going to make a run at Deniz, but of course they're all in transfers, so thought better of it. Meanwhile, Ty Smith turned a really bad first start around to win on this restart. Deniz, Doiron, Gonzalez look like they're all going to make it through, and they will. So your top 4 is just as I said them. Dakota French is going to miss out, as is Nathan Zaworski. James Schuler is going to almost get blocked past in a very illegal manner by Jack Fowler, who almost cut the track. Josh Mertens, Zach Dupuis, Jake Warden. Jacob Hubbard was up there early on the last start. Fortunately for him, did not work out. This time around, Reese Harris behind Mikhail Ming Woodley, Tyler Fry, Robert Wilson going home, Max Spokes, Cody Darr, Roy Mitchell was up front on that last start. Chase Dunavant, who was leading this thing at one point, ended up rage quitting. Guess we're still trying to figure out what exactly happened. Did Derek Duraco... Duraco didn't even get into that race, so I'm not too sure what the restart really was for. Yeah, if Duraco was the one that was out, I mean, there's 22 guys on the gate, so that doesn't make any sense. Why would they be restarting the race for Duraco? I'm still confused. I'm just trying to get it figured out because I don't understand what the first red flag was for. Kind of interested. Shield your eyes, young ones, because I'm going to pop open chat here on this restart, and I'd imagine there's going to be a few unhappy campers. I guess I'd just like to know what the initial restart was for, because I've been told it was Derek Duraco was in warm-up, but the problem didn't get solved on the second restart, so why wouldn't they red flag again if that was the case the first time around? So I guess we'll have to find out later on why the first red flag even happened. If it was for not Derek Duraco, and just because somebody got a bad start, I think that's a little sad, but obviously that's just speculation. Yeah, that's what I'm not really getting. Duraco wasn't in on that second start, so if they red flagged for Derek Duraco on the first start and he's not in on the second start, it doesn't make one little bit of sense to me why they wouldn't red flag it again to ensure that he's actually in. So let me take a peek at chat. Well, I'm seeing Peter Like saying, same old story, the ones who complain are the ones who have never helped. I mean, I'm not necessarily complaining, but I would like a little bit more of a clarification. And I do have a right to ask that question, I feel, because I have actually hosted this series before. So I know what goes into it. I know that's not easy, but it should be pretty simple to understand that if there's not a way you can get Duraco into the race, that you shouldn't restart the first race, or the race in the first place. Anyway, coming up next is the 450 Consolation race, and I guess one day we'll know why Duraco wasn't in that race. But for now, we're going to watch some 450 guys try to make their way in. Let's find someone. Can we get someone right in the middle? Holiak on the 21's not in a bad spot there. And we are go in the 450 LCQ. So again, only 4 riders going through out of this one. I'm seeing a lot of low-digit numbers in this one, including, I thought I saw the number 6 of Colton Mitchell, who's top 10 in points. It'd be a shame if he's not already into the night show. But out front early, it is Jeremy Kohenauer from 2016 250 East champion Tyler Schmidt. And Schmidt has got former New Jersey native Brian Haskell, former 2-time Supercross champion Brian Haskell, breathing down his neck. Garrett Oliver's coming with. Chase Blakely also in the mix. Thomas Sillick. These 450 guys look like they've got it a little bit more figured out. For Zaka, Heather Hamilton, St. Laurent, Devin Davis, Cameron Lee, Reed Young, Eduardo Simos, Braden Carter, Casey Ohlert, Clay Alfrey. Craig Richards is actually on Colton Mitchell's bike, so it's not Colton Mitchell. But up front, look at this train of riders. Are you kidding me? Kohenauer leads from Schmidt, Haskell, and Oliver. And this is where the real action is. This is your final transfer spot, the 208 of Garrett Oliver, as he's looking to try to sneak down the inside of the 94 of Haskell. Showed him a wheel. Is he still going to get the triple? Looks like just barely. Comes up a tiny bit short. Oh, your leader, Kohenauer, dumps it. after the triple, so that's going to change things up. Now Blakely goes to the last transfer spot, and Oliver goes down, which means that Frizaka goes to the last transfer spot. It's all changing up. Now Oliver gets back going still in the 5 spot. He's trying to bring Silic and Fred Heather with him, and the 36 of William St. Laurent. Oh, and Blakely was down. He was in a transfer spot as well, so goodness gracious. Let's reset things a little bit as Tyler Schmidt, your race leader, blows the berm after the quad. And now Brian Haskell goes to the lead in the LCQ. Let me just quickly check. No, I can't see where it says. I'm thinking this race they actually did put it to 4 minutes this time. Anywho. So Haskell leads from Frizaka. Oh, Oliver down again. He was in a transfer spot again and goes down. Somehow Blakely is remounted in the 3 spot by the looks of it. So that moves St. Laurent up to 4th. A lot of big names outside looking in as you continue to watch the tracking bar scroll across the top of your screen there. St. Laurent trying to stick close there to chase Blakely. Fred Heather, the Brit, trying to come with them. He is outside looking in. He wants to get into that final transfer spot, and he's bringing Brazilian's own Eduardo Simões. All right, so we will see next time by as Haskell has coughed up the lead to Kevin Frizaka. If they clip that 4-minute mark, we'll see if the white flag is waving. I kind of want to see if they got it right. I think they did. So Haskell, Blakely, and now Heather in the final transfer spot. So what happened? We lost. Who was in that transfer spot? I thought it was someone else. Maybe I'm looking at it wrong. Frizaka, Haskell, Blakely, and Heather. I'm just being stupid, I guess. Simões, Oliver is coming through behind that. Bringing Tyler Schmidt, your early leader, with him. And Oliver and Schmidt both off the side of the track, trying to rejoin. So these guys are going to need some crashing up front, methinks. Real battle is this final transfer spot. And this is probably just a lag bubble of hell between these two. It's a USA server, so I guess, technically speaking, they're both about equidistant from the United States. I guess, nah, Great Britain would be closer. But Brazilian Eduardo Simões trying to tackle Great Britain's Fred Heather. The final transfer spot in the first round of the Triple Crown Series. Oh, Simões dives inside, and Heather makes a big mistake and goes down. He tried to, not sure really what happened, made him knife the front wheel coming off of that jump. So he hits the deck, and now Simões has 4th all to his own. Going to try to catch Frizaka, who lost the lead, so now Haskell's back out front, and Haskell takes the win, so they did clip the 4-minute mark. I didn't even notice. Haskell from Blakely, Frizaka, and Simões does get that last transfer spot, so Fred Heather literally coughed it up with half a lap to go, and he has discoed. Josh Hamilton, going to be the first guy outside looking in, comes across in 5th. Cameron Lee also out. Garrett Oliver, Clay Alfrey, like I said, big names missing out. Reed Young, obviously Fred Heather, Braden Carter, Tyler Schmidt, Jeremy Cohenauer had your early lead. William St. Laurent has had a dreadful Supercross season so far after really quite a good outdoor campaign. Casey Ullert, Noah Baker, Tyler Lang. Yikes. Devin Davis, 3rd race in a row, not going to the main event. Unfortunate for the number 15 machine, who, again, like St. Laurent, had a very good 2017 campaign, so I'm sure the last thing he wants is to not be making it into these main events. But unfortunately for him, that is the current situation. All right, so that was the last chance qualifiers. Next up is the mains being built, and I think I'm gonna go ahead and take this time to show you guys around the track a little bit from a third-person onboard perspective. So it's a pretty long start this week. It's probably about 300-ish feet long. It goes from dead center of the outfield at Angel Stadium all the way to about the pitcher's mound. So it's probably actually a little bit longer than 300 feet. Then a first rhythm section that you can either go single over table, triple triple, or what we've seen most guys doing is on-off triple double. Not really sure if one is faster over the other. They both seem like they're pretty good. Whoop section after the triple, and you see a lot of the 450 guys tripling up onto this plateau, setting up outside and going double, and then kind of launching out over here into the whoops. Supercross triple here, and then the big line of course is to go 3-4, but I didn't get the 3 clean enough. Whoops, the daisies. And after this bowl corner here, let's see if I can do this from just the corner sitting. Triple up onto the table. There we go. And the finish line jump, which this week isn't really a finish line double so much as it's like a camel jump. It's kind of a triple, but not really. And that is one lap at Anaheim 2. First round of the Triple Crown Series. So again, seeing guys go on-off and then triple-double. I think that's more of just ease. Like you can do that line consistently every lap. You can kind of scrub it a little bit because it is so easy. The other line you kind of have to use finesse, get over that table cleanly, and then time the triples after it pretty perfectly. Also right here in this corner, if you're able to get to the inside, there are a couple ruts already dug in for you. Let's see if I can get this quad this time. There it is. But I didn't land it. So again, main events coming up here in just a minute. The first of the 6 main events we're going to see tonight. When was the last time you could say that? Not even at the MX Sim Cup are there 6 main events, or the Monster Energy Cup in real life. Oh, bring it back, bring it back. Oh, almost got it. Alright, so break before main event announcements. So I guess they're taking a little bit longer of a break. I think they're just kind of getting everything together. We're also seeing quite a few guys triple up to this plateau and tuck to the inside so that they can roll triple before the whoops, and you can click to third, can jump down to first, get a good drive into the whoops. Triple, see if I can get it again. There it is. It's a pretty fun track this week. It's honestly pretty simple. Not too many like big lines I feel like you could do. Like last week everybody was wheeling over the first one. You could maybe wheelie over and then quad in, but then I don't think you could get the 5 all the way to the corner, so you're still catching air essentially 3 times. I want to actually try that again. So you come out. Nah, I think that first hump's a little bit too big. Last week you saw a lot of guys kind of wheeling that first little hump and then going 3-3-1 or 3-4. Especially helps when you have a straight run at it, but I think that hump was a little bit smaller than what we're working with before this section this week. So obviously guys not doing that line or attempting it. Maybe they'll do it in qualifying for the EU series because everybody figures out something stupid. but it's a pretty fun track. I want to try real quick, or hopefully they don't shovel me off the track here. See if I can quad this. Oh yeah. That's way faster. People gotta be doing that line. Quad the second triple is what people are telling me. What happened to Gatlin? Is my suit Gucci? No, it's not. The suit I was wearing in the pre-race stream, I think Joseph Abad? Oh, I think we're about to get a restart. Or I don't know. I keep hearing, what's his name, Dylan Gatlin disappear. So I feel like I don't really know what's going on. There's just generally argumentative stuff going on in chat. I'm trying to follow what's happening. Alright, here we go. Main event for the 250 West class has been posted. I mean, I don't know the whole story, but just assuming it's off of this Duraco incident, I think it was handled pretty poorly. There needs to be a clear and cut line as to why they restarted or what they were doing, and if they restarted simply for a guy that wasn't in and he's not in, then you don't run the race. I mean, it's clear and cut as that is. So we will see probably tonight on the forums a bloodfest. Here we go though. It is time for the main events in the first round of the Triple Crown. 6 main events coming up, and our first one is 250 West main event number 1. This one will go 6 minutes plus a lap, so it's kind of like a heat race, but as mentioned before, it's a big heat race. It's got all 22 of probably the fastest guys here tonight lined up on the gate for 6 minutes plus a lap. It's going to be kind of a mad dash. I think some guys are going to end up getting really bad finishes in this one that could potentially win this race tonight. You know, if someone like, let's say, Russ Chapman, your current points leader, gets a bad start, he only has 6 minutes plus a lap to kind of get through everybody. Who knows? He could end up with a random 13th or something. Alrighty then. Likelihood of me timing out is quite high, so we're just waiting until I actually can load in and restart my game. There we go. Multiplayer, disconnect and reconnect. That way we can see everybody. There we go. So again, these guys haven't started just yet. This is just the warm-up lap, and would you look at that? I actually made sure to download the update to Chapman's bike this week, and it's still all messed up. Cool beans. I thought it would overwrite the old file, but I guess it didn't. So that's a bummer. We're not going to see Russ Chapman's red plate once again. Chapman going 4.33, interestingly enough. Taking a look of all these guys that are in the main event tonight. Alex Heckman was ripping up chat in here earlier on. He's in the main tonight. Seeing some of our LCQ qualifiers. Really just a good mix of guys on the gate here. All right, well, one thing's for sure about these races, and it's going to be a mix-up. I don't think it's going to be the same winner all 3 times. We have seen Russ Chapman win the first 2 rounds of the year, and he can still win the 3rd round despite maybe losing some of these main events. But I don't know. I don't think it's going to be the same guy each time. I think it's going to be a really big shake-up. So here we go. 250 main event number 1 lining up on the gate, 6 minutes plus 1 lap. Technically speaking, points are on the table, but it is not for grabs just yet. Alright, let's see if I can find someone middle-ish near the box. I'm gonna have to get stuck with somebody. Sean Klein, he's middle-ish near the box. Let's go racing from Anaheim. Long hold of the gate. It tripped up a couple guys. I think Moxie clipped the gate. Instead, it is from the outside. Alex Heckman on the 44 wraps around, gets the whole shot on his 2-stroke. Russ Chapman puts somebody on the ground who is right next to him, so he moves into the 2nd spot. So Heckman leads from Chapman, and I didn't think Chapman would get a good start this time, and look at how wrong I was proven. It's a great start in 2nd. He's got to get around Heckman, though. And he's got Craig Leake coming. Leake, had him sized up there, but he jumped off the track, and now Leake's magic manning. He's bringing Brandon Hedge with him, and Hedge got almost kind of dirty there real quick. Man, oh man, look at Heckman go. He's just ripping away out front. I believe he was your 17th fastest qualifier in the 250 West class. And he's trying to have a go at maybe winning this first main event here. I mean, he's only got to hang on for another 5 minutes and a lap. I say only, that's a tall task, especially when you have the current points leader won the first 2 rounds of the season right behind him. Oh, and Heckman hits the deck. Looks like he OJ'd the triple, and he brought Craig Leake down with him. 182 of Kevin Gonzalez sliding by for a 3rd spot now. Here comes Stefan Guido, Logan Leitzel, Matthias Janis, Brandon Hedge, Gustavo Deniz, Devin Ryan, Trevor Doiron, Jordan Moxie looking for any sign of Sean Klein. There he is. He is buried in the 15th position right now. He's trying to work his way forward. Klein expected to be a title threat this year, of course. Look at all the riders down after the whoops here. A stack up of epic proportions, and Klein got mixed in a little bit, almost got cross-jumped on the triple face as he rejoined the track. Actually, I should say he almost cross-jumped someone on the triple face because you can't rejoin the track sideways, but he almost did. Now Guido hits the deck. Heckman's stuck in the corner with, I think that might be Moxie upside down, or no, that's Jake Rose on the 58 as Trevor Doiron's coming through. Now Clinton Martin and Heckman's down again, and Sean Klein is on the deck with him. Walter Gebhardt, just everybody going down after the finish line jump right now. It's a terrible spot to crash because nobody can see you, and as much as a spotter helps in this game, it usually doesn't seem to work for about 90% of the people in this game. So let's reset things, shall we? Kevin Gonzalez is leading this race. Are you absolutely kidding me? Russ Chapman, halfway into this first main event, is trying to go back to work on the race lead. And now here comes Janis, who has a shot at this thing. I believe, and I could be mistaken, but I believe Matthias Janis missed the opening round main event. He's kind of expected to be a title hunt guy this year, maybe pick up a podium or a couple wins. And he's definitely going to try to make it at least one win here in this first main event, is Chapman already going to work again on Kevin Gonzalez and trying to waste no time doing it. See if he sizes him up for a pass here. He's going to swing wide. Gonzalez literally just gives him the spot. Checked up after the triple, doubled into the corner, and just handed it to him. So easy pickings for Chapman out front. Now Janis has Leitzel closing in on him. Leitzel was your round one winner in the 250 West EU Series. And of course, Leitzel had a fantastic end to his season last year in the 250 National Championship, winning the final round. Now Janis gets around Kevin Gonzalez, who looks to pretty much just be on survival mode right now. Not really making any large bid at battling with these guys. Chapman makes a small bobble. He's not going to do the triple. It's going to allow Janis to close up a little bit more. You can definitely now see him, and Leitzel is around Gonzalez, who was taking it as easy as someone walking around in a china shop, but ended up crashing and went back to the 5 spot. So Chapman back out in front, and look at here, he's about to lap Craig Leak on the number 11 machine, who is still having internet issues. Chapman can't really seem to make any flow of the track right now. He's already crashed out of the lead once, and honestly at this point Janis is coming. Chapman's got to gather himself up a little bit here. He still wants to win this first main. Rut's starting to develop in that first corner. I'd imagine in those later main events it's going to be awful deep. Also a rut on the inside before the Supercross triple as Chapman hits the left side of the triple and passes Craig Leak, who's got a lot of lag going on right now. And Janis, you can't see it as much as Janis sees it. But Leak's definitely having some lag issues, and Janis is probably struggling a little bit with that as Leak comes on sideways, and somehow Janis did not clip him right there. Another mistake for Chapman. He slid out before the triple, but was able to clear it. But again, Janis is kind of closing this thing down here, and we're about to come to the white flag lap. This is going to be close, and Leitzel is still there too. So here we go, white flag on the first main event. Chapman is leading, but will he hang on? There is pressure from behind in the form of the 41 machine of Matthias Janis. And honestly, like I said, Leitzel not too far back of that either. Making this thing interesting. The pressure is on Chapman to hold on. Into the whoops he goes. Anytime, you know, those ruts could shine through, kick him bad. You never know. Gotta hang on for this last lap here, and there's a bundle of lappers right in front of him here. A couple guys. But it looks like he will do it comfortably. So Chapman stays perfect through the first main event. He is your main event #1 winner at Anaheim. Janis fought valiantly, but ends up a little bit short. Leitzel was close as well. Kevin Gonzalez is going to tiptoe his way into a 4 spot, which that is nothing to sneeze over. Moxie, I believe, was down on the ground in the first corner. He definitely clipped the gate, ends up 5th. Okay. I'm not too sure what exactly just happened right there, but Craig Leak is showing as in... 4th. Okay, Craig Leak crossed the line in 4th, I guess. I don't know, he's lagging so bad that things are changing all over the place. Sean Klein ended up climbing up to 8th. Ty Smith, 9th. Eglund, 10th. Lewis, 11th. Gebhardt, 12th. Andrade. Devin Ryan, Guido, Hedge, Rose, Hughes. Heckman leads and goes to 19th. Doiron, Deniz, and Saulnier. So I guess I'll have to make a correction. I guess Craig Leak was in that battle with those guys for the lead, but he was lagging so bad that I couldn't even latch onto him, let alone see that he was in that mix. It showed in my screen that he was a lapper. So that's interesting, but Russ Chapman is confirmed as your winner now. No cuts came across, so really interesting night of racing so far. And methinks it's only going to get more interesting, as up first are the 450 guys now. 450 main event number 1 coming up. These guys will go 8 minutes plus 1 lap, so again, very similar to a real-life heat race. But it's a little bit more intense. All 22 of the fastest guys on the line. Points to be paid, or I should say earned, from finishing well in this race. In fact, I should have kept track of those scores in that first main event. Let me see if I have a notepad. And I do. If only I had a pen. Alright, so first main was Chapman. Then open up the servers page. I think I timed out again, so let's go ahead and refresh. Alright, so 450 guys out there now. Let's see if we can find your points leader. Where is the man of the night? Mr. Bryce Whelan. Number 18 is your points leader. Number 19 was the points leader after round 1. Number 18 the points leader after round 2. Whelan's looking to keep on a roll here, and here we go. 450 main event number 1 coming up. Alright, let's see, is someone middle-ish to the gate? Yeah, Armstrong's right there. That looks like a good spot to look. Here we go. The first of the Triple Crown races for the 450 guys is on the line. The board is sideways and the gate is down, and Armstrong hits the gate, as do several other riders. It's a mad rush into turn 1, and it's all led by Jeremy Smith on the number 4 VersusPC FamMX Suzuki, and he's got your points leader Whelan with him, so Whelan a good start right there in the mix. Let's bring in Leclerc on the 7 with him. Burkeen front flips the triple, while in 4th place as chaos will ensue behind him. Tiberino right there in front of Tony Spinelli. Jesse Mullins has got a good start, your winner last week. Holden Cote is also up here. He had a tremendous ride last week, finishing 6th if I remember correctly. But again, up front, JS4. The man, the myth, the legend, the real-life pro up front, and he actually just went 3-4 and Whelan went 4-3, and they looked pretty even, so I guess I was wrong in thinking that 4-3 was faster, but we'll see. Maybe if Whelan can't pull the trigger on that next lap, maybe close in a little bit more. Leclerc is coming with him, and we got a 3-rider train breaking away out front. So these guys all mixed together. Let's actually go on board with Leclerc for a minute. Leclerc electing to take that rut already on the inside. Such a unique riding style Leclerc has, and he's always so fluid on the bike for how unique he is. I can't believe he keeps his speed as high as he does, but he's very, very fast in and out of the corners. Usually pretty good in the whoops, as Whelan somehow, oh, he ended up going down. He was swapped all the way across the track, back and forth, almost saved it. Ends up getting back up in the 5 spot right in front of last week's winner, Jesse Mullins, and Mullins is 2nd in points. Now he will take away that spot from Whelan. So it's a mix of single digits up front, led by the number 4 of Jeremy Smith. Coming up in second is Alexis Leclerc. Third place is now Colton Mitchell on the 6. Fourth place, Tony Spinelli, 317. Then Mullins on the 9. I think that's Armstrong, followed by Tiberino, Whelan, and the 57 of Jack Haley. Then Burkeen, Simos, I think that was Mertens maybe. Holm was in the mix. There's Fresquez on the 1 going by. And it's all kind of kicking off really towards the front and bringing up the rear of the pack. Two-time Supercross champion Brian Haskell. So again, 8 minutes plus a lap. This thing will go by in a flash, and these guys won't even know what hit them until this race is over. Man, Tony Spinelli is just putting on some solid rides as of late. I mean, no doubt about it, he was good in those 2013-2014 seasons, the last time he really raced a full official season, but I'm not too sure he was this good. He has really surprised me this year. So far doing a good job of holding off your 3-time and defending outdoor national champion Jesse Mullins. Oh, Armstrong tucks the front wheel in the background, and he's on the deck, loses 3 spots. There is the 4th one in Burkeen, the 5th one, not quite. Actually, that is Chase to Sell on the 38, running improper naming convention again. One more time, and I think I will definitely write him down as a protest. It's all kind of still up for grabs in the back, but I mean, something about Anaheim and Jeremy Smith. Boy, oh boy, is he good. Smooth riding style, kind of carries over from his real life expertise. Leclerc, I mean, when you watch him ride, it looks kind of harsh, and then you go on board and you can't believe how smooth it looks. It's kind of a weird little bit of an inception, it seems. Mitchell is quadding up behind him, though, and he's going to get right onto the back wheel of his teammate now, iLab.com teammates. Go on board with Mitchell here for a second and see what it looks like. Leclerc continues to tuck into that rut before the triple, and honestly, he's making it work. So kudos to him. Kind of trying to work those lines a little bit. Another rut coming out of that corner, but that time he didn't get it as smooth, so Mitchell kind of keeping things a little closer this time. And that triple up onto that plateau seems to be a huck, and now Mitchell has a drive trying to come down the left side of the whoops. Oh, they're coming together. Teammates, woo! Almost contact. Leclerc left him 0 room. And that time Leclerc got the quad and Mitchell did not, so a little bit of a split difference there. Creeping up to the 6-minute mark right now, so a couple minutes left to go and a lap. So Leclerc seems to have gapped it back out a little bit over Mitchell for now. Mullins is up to 4th. Jack Haley, Steady Eddie. Another solid ride out of him. He's in 5th. Spinelli continues to surprise in 6th. Armstrong, Adam Holm, Jeremy Shipley is 9th. Burkeen's up to 10th. He's bringing Tiberino with him. He's trying to peek back. Man, Fresquez not having a good first main right now, running in the 15 spot. He's got Josh Williams and your points leader Bryce Whelan in 17th. Right behind him, I think that's the case. Yeah, 17th. And Whelan isn't even making much headway on Williams right now, much less Fresquez doing much about his 15th spot. These guys are all running such a fast pace that they're kind of waiting for crashes to happen, which there goes Burkeen hitting the deck. Really kind of all spread out. Mitchell did get around Leclerc, but still nobody's been able to challenge Jeremy Smith, and there's not really a close battle going on really even inside of the top 10. I guess Shipley closing on Holm is a little bit of an interesting one. He's got Tiberino with him as well. Really not too much action going on in this race. It's kind of reached a stalemate already, which is insane given how short this main is. Guess we'll keep it up front though, since the lead has changed. What the heck happened to Jeremy Smith? All the way back to 4th, something happened. He has just completely come unraveled here. With 1 lap to go, he coughs up the lead to Colton Mitchell. And wouldn't you believe it, the 450 rookie taking advantage of the opportunity. My, oh my, Colton Mitchell. Working his way around Simos, who is downed as a lapped rider. Leclerc has got Mullins closing in. That might be a battle to watch to the line. I'm sorry, Mullins is closing in on Leclerc. I said that backwards. Colton Mitchell is about to win his first 450 Premier Class main event, but he's not done yet. He's still got 2 more to go, but Colton Mitchell wins 450 main event number 1, and Leclerc dumps it in the final corner and coughs up a podium spot. That goes to Mullins, Smith right behind him in 3rd, Leclerc in 4th, and it looks like 5th spot is actually still up for debate between Holm and Tiberino, but it looks like the 27 of Holm is going to take that one. Tiberino 6th. Spinelli 7th. 8th spot for Armstrong. 9th for Shipley. 10th for Siebel. Oh, Whelan coming in hot on Blakely. Just couldn't get there. Ends up 12th. But a good salvage ride for what it's worth. Jack Haley lets Matt Burkeen, I think, go through. And Tanner Rogers. Tyson Fresquez gets 15th, Williams 16th. I don't know what Jack Haley is doing right now. Just gave up another spot. Well, there's Haskell going through. For Zaka and Coate to the final corner. Coate tucks underneath and gets it. For Zaka, 19th. Haley crosses the line, 20th. And cuts her in. Doesn't look like much was affected there. So chaos, as mentioned, has hit us here at Angel Stadium. I'm going to leave you guys for just a moment to continue working out the point situation in the 250 West class. So I'll be right back. All right. Finally have a list of the 250 guys all sorted, and now I have to do the 450s. Ah, boy. All right. Next up, 250 main event number 2. These guys will go for 10 minutes plus a lap. Yes, 10 minutes plus a lap. And I think I'm going to time out again. All right. So again, warm-up lap for these guys. Second 250 main event coming up in just a second. I'm going to try to continue writing down 450 names now. And I'm not going to have any time to do that. Let's try anyway. All right. 250 main event number 2 on the line. And someone in the middle, Sean Klein again. Why not? He's right in the middle next to Moxie. Pretty much everybody has the same gate. And we are set to go for main event number 2 from Anaheim as the gate is down. Long drive into that first corner. And again, Alex Heckman on the 44 sweeps around from the outside. Takes the whole shot. This time he's got another Husqvarna with him, but it's Walter Gebhardt instead. And Gebhardt takes over that race lead real quick. Bringing with him Devin Ryan. No sign of Russ Chapman up front, but there's a couple Zooks in the mix. Ryan, Lewis, Hughes, Leak, Guido, Leitzel, Deniz, Martin. Still no Russ Chapman as Gebhardt tries to already pull away out front here. Ooh, big kick from Gebhardt. Corrals the bike underneath of him. Heckman loses it in the corner, slides it down. Almost contact with a few riders trying to go through. Oh, and Heckman up over the bars. So, oh, hello. Coming in your living room is Jonathan Hughes. He almost jumps off the track. Everybody's chasing Gebhardt. Look at this. Train of riders coming into the first corner as Devin Ryan sweeps around the outside. That was a nice line. But he might get past here from Hughesy. Hughes goes inside. Ryan tucks back underneath, but he's not going to get the triple now. So Craig Leak goes through, and Devin Ryan might lose some more spots as here comes Leitzel. And look at that. Lewis takes advantage of Leitzel checking up for Lewis's teammate, Devin Ryan. And oh, Leitzel into the back of him. And then now there's like literally the worst lag bubble ever from, I don't know who that was on the ground. Gustavo Deniz was throwing everybody around like chopped liver. So it's all shook up once again, literally. Out front though, Gebhardt is cruising, man. He's got a big lead already for 2 laps. Hughes, Ryan, Chapman, Eagland, Lewis, Guido, Leak, Smith, Moxie, Deniz, Leitzel, Martin is down, so Rose and Janice went through, then Heckman, Martin, Klein, Andrade, Gonzalez. Where in the heck is Russ Chapman? Did I miss him? I had to have. It's got to be somewhere in here. 4th, okay. Must have been making a pass when I was trying to go back and find him. So 4th isn't too bad. Gotta imagine Chapman's relatively happy with that. At the moment, he's got a lot more time to work with in this main event than he did in the first one. A whole extra 4 minutes. Ryan on Hughes though, trying to make that pass back. Really like Devin Ryan's line into that first corner, the way he swoops into that corner. He carries his momentum so well. Oh, did I? Apparently I said Chapman during the rundown and then didn't even realize it myself. My bad. Speaking of Chapman though, Battle for third is about to ensue, and it features none other than Rush Chapman catching up to Devin Ryan, who just lost the front wheel before the whoops. Chapman very solid right across the top of the whoops there. This is a good battle brewing between these two. Chapman is riding hard, but Devin Ryan's just got such a fluid riding style. They both kind of tuck into that sweeping line. Chapman really swept around. A little bit of dualies action. The only reason I don't want to go on board with Rush is because it doesn't look pretty. And like the front fender looks like someone just kind of threw up all over it. Not looking too good. If it were the other way around and Devin Ryan were catching Rush, I'd definitely go on board because it would look nicer. Either way, still a fantastic battle, and they are absolutely re-catching Hughes again. I don't think Hughes realizes that Rush is with Devin Ryan this time, or maybe he does, but certainly looks like he's double thinking about his lines. Chapman, I thought, was going to line up Devin Ryan for a pass there, but ended up thinking better of it. Oof. Knifes the front end in the corner. Ryan actually going to work on Hughes now, but he's got to be careful of that British bubble. Chapman tries to send the triple and almost goes down. Keeps the bike underneath of him, though. Oh, so Ryan got the pass. Hughes got it back. Ryan got it back again. Look at him going back and forth here. Now is Hughes going to try to tuck back underneath? No, he settles in behind Ryan. So Ryan takes that spot. Chapman is going to try to go to work on both of them. How about Colby Eagland having a good ride right now inside of the top 5? Whole lot of yellow inside of the top 10 though. Leitzel, Janis, Guido, Martin, Heckman, Rose, Smith, Leak, Deniz. Terrible second main event for Klein. It is not getting any better for the number 10. Meanwhile, this battle for second is still a good one. It's kind of a battle for third between Chapman and Hughes. Hughes swaps back and forth, goes down. Chapman takes the spot. Now Chapman's going to try to settle in and go back to work on Devin Ryan. We are 3 minutes and a lap away from the end of this race. And Gebhardt's definitely checked out, but one crash could definitely change the complexion of this race. Chapman has the bit between his teeth here. He really wants to get around Devin Ryan this time. Trying to stay low over the triple. Swings wide. Oh, stands it up at the top of the berm. Continuing to have little mistakes here and there. Otherwise, he looks like he's clearly the fastest guy on the track. Just having a little bit tougher time this particular main event of putting it all together. Obviously a better start would have helped. That went to Gebhardt this time. And speaking of Gebhardt, my goodness, has he checked out. He is putting on a clinic in the second main event. From 12th in the first one, looking up at picking up the win in this one. Ooh, little mistake there. Just has to regroup though. Still a good battle brewing for second though. Chapman and Ryan have been seemingly locked together this whole race. Chapman gets the triple in clean, has a run in the whoops. Does he try the inside? Not quite. It looks like Devin Ryan was going to take defensive maneuvers anyway. Now Chapman trying to have another run. This time he has the inside, and Ryan nearly jumps off the track. So Chapman gets the spot. Ryan has to settle back in, and he might get him back. Ooh, shows him a wheel. Over the finish line jump, Ryan had to double, but he didn't lose a whole lot of time doing it. Now down into the first corner. Look at Devin Ryan. He's going to cut back underneath, and will he bury it in on Chapman? He does. Chapman fights back, though. Look at this great battling between these two. Oh, Russ Chapman with the boner air of the century. Ryan is definitely not done. Be interested to see if he gets there again, if he tries that move down the inside on the start straight. Chapman made a big mistake, and it caused Ryan to not be able to get the triple. So Chapman actually opened up that gap a little bit again. White flag in the air already for your leader, Gebhardt. Lappers. Whew. I mean, he is still there, is Devin Ryan. He has not given up. Ryan trying to turn a 14th in the first moto around. Chapman looking at 1-2 scores right now, which pretty much puts him almost on the winner's circle already with how many mixed results everybody has. So we'll peel our eyes away from that battle for just a little bit to at least give some credit to your race leader, Walter Gebhardt. Really good ride the second one. Didn't get the whole shot. That went to Heckman, but Gebhardt took it early, took it all the way to the checkers. Walter Gebhardt wins main event number 2. In the 250 West class, Devin Ryan, woo! Almost got him. Almost. Still not done. But Chapman will get that second spot. Ryan tried hard. Got to give him credit. And how about this ride from Colby Eagland? Are you kidding me? Really good stuff out of the 891 rookie. Fourth in this one is not going to be too shabby at all. So he comes across in fourth. Leitzel is looking at picking up a fifth here. And that is confirmed. Janis looks like he's got 6. So actually, it's still fairly close at the top. Chapman 1-2, Janis 2-6, and Leitzel 3-5. Lewis, Guido, Hughes, Heckman, Martin, Klein, Rose, Moxie, Deniz, Hedge, Andrade, Gonzalez, Smith, Saulnier, and Leak. And cuts are in. Oh, it looks like a couple guys got some spots on. I don't know. It's all mixed up in there somewhere. Anyway, 450 main event number 2 coming up. Give me just a second. Alrighty, let me get this back up going here. Alright, 450 main event number 2 coming up. Again, this is a parade lap, so pay no attention really to this. Alright, 450 main event number 2 on the gate. I watched Armstrong the first time. Let's find someone else middle-ish of the gate. Fresquez isn't in a terrible spot. Let's watch him because he needs a good start. 15th in the first main event. Board is sideways. Main event number 2 from Anaheim is underway, and the gate is down. The land rush is on, and the number 4 of Jeremy Smith almost got it again, but he got cleaned. Bryce Whelan T-boned him into the first corner. That split it up a little bit, and Burkeen cross-jumping alongside the track almost clips Mullins, and Seabolt goes into the lead, and Burkeen in 4th spot once again. Front flips the triple. Mullins tucks underneath for the lead, but Seabolt's trying to get him back. Will not quite do it. Leclerc also in the mix. Burkeen up front as well. So Smith and Whelan, a couple of our heavy hitters, collide in turn 1. And chaos has ensued once again. Oh, Leclerc puts it in on Burkeen as Shipley finds his way through. I think Leclerc's thinking he doesn't want Mullins to get away. He's got to get around Seabolt though. I think Seabolt was a little nicer to Mullins than he'll be to Leclerc. That's just speculative. Again, just a plethora of Relax-A-Tire Suzukis in the mix here. Holden Cote in 5th. Jack Haley is in 6th. And your race 1 winner, Colton Mitchell's in 7th. Frizaka 8th. Tiberino in 9th. Spinelli. Simos. Whelan is in 12th again. Fresquez also a bad start this time around. Blakely, Holm, DeSalle. Smith had the whole shot again, but down on the ground. And behind him, a couple guys that are having some rough nights. Oh, change for the lead. Seabolt goes to the front. So not too sure what happened to Mullins. He is not in this mix of guys anymore, so he must have just completely crashed on his own. Oh, Burkeen. Burkeen with a fall off. I wish what I could do with the in-game audio is because when I'm really far away from the bikes, you can barely hear them, and when I'm really close to them, they're like the loudest thing ever. I wish I could do what they do in real life, which is put, oh, Seabolt is somehow still on 2 wheels, but he coughs up the lead to Leclerc. What they do in real life is they put little audio booms right next to the racetrack, so you still get that kind of loud effect, even if the camera is way up in the stands. So, kind of wish they would do that a little bit more. But I suppose since you guys requested it, I'll turn it down a smidge. So Leclerc now leads from Shipley, Cote, Seabolt, and Haley. Mitchell's also there, Tiberino, and Frizaka exchanging pleasantries. Mullins has Burkeen with him. Simos has your points leader Whelan mixed together with him. And there's a rider down way off the track as Fresquez is in 13th behind Whelan. Mullins, your early leader. I can't believe how many spots he lost in that crash. But I guess that's really just how tightly packed this field is. Leclerc is looking awful smooth out front though, but man, oh man, look at Holden Cote go. Cote looked fantastic last week at Houston, and man, oh man, he looks even better here tonight. Ooh, oh, I may have spoke too soon. Lost the front end coming out of the corner, and he might... Nope, I thought he was going to get passed by Seabolt, but he actually kind of held up the train behind him. Leclerc got away a little bit as Haley almost jumped off the track, and Cote did jump off the track, so Seabolt goes through in a second. Now Haley into third, Mitchell fourth, Cote fifth, Shipley sixth, Frizaka, Tiberino, Mullins, and Burkeen all just like on one freight train here. In fact, I'm going to do a little bit of onboard action with Jesse Mullins here because I have a feeling he's going to be making some passes here soon. And there are just a few riders in front of him. Let's go ahead and sit back and listen. Let's just enjoy this one. Oh, couple riders went down, so there goes Mullins gaining a couple more spots. Next up will be Kevin Frizak on the number 32 machine. Riders down, Mullins splitting them. Still might get everybody here. He's up to fifth. Will he get fourth? Not quite just yet, but definitely a little bit of a shakeup there. I think that was, yeah, that was Tiberino down with, well, that was Cote getting up, but I thought somebody else was in the mix there too. I think maybe Mullins was just making the pass on Frizaka, and that's what tricked my eye. So Leclerc leads, Seabolt, Mitchell, Cote, Mullins, Frizaka, Tiberino, Whelan, so he's kind of climbed his way through the field. Simos. Now Shipley is bringing Fresquez, Burkeen, and just 1,000 guys behind him. Look at Haley, DeSalle, Smith, Holm, Blakely not too far back of that. Whoever asked for my first person settings, try to remember to remind me in between races so I can look at it and show you. Because I personally don't remember. Burkeen, wow, that could have been so bad for Fresquez if he didn't end up in the bales. And it ends up being pretty bad for him anyway. Burkeen landed backwards on the track, was set to tee up Fresquez. Fresquez into the bales, didn't hit him, then they got going, and Burkeen fell over anyway. So out front, it is still Leclerc leading, but he's got to be mindful of what's going on behind him because Seabolt not too far behind that. And then Mitchell also close. We'll go back on board with Mitchell. Man, Mitchell looks really good here tonight. I mean, he made the pass on Seabolt, who made a mistake in that sequence, but I was just kind of mesmerized by the way he was riding. Oh, little mistake, though. Jumps off the track. He was really reeling in Fresquez. I almost I want to go back on board just to see him. Like, I just don't understand how he's so fluid and smooth. In and out of the corners, always in a good RPM range. It's really good stuff right here. Onboard action's so good, it's literally killing my headset battery, so I'm gonna have to change that after this race. Yeah, people asking in chat, I mean, I'm building a PC from scratch, so the PC I'm using is gonna have none of the components in the new PC. I literally just have not received in the mail yet my graphics card to put in the new PC yet. Otherwise, everything is pretty much here. Mitchell Leclerc was down with a lapper. That's Jack Haley. I was hearing a lot of nothing coming out of my left headphone just now. I was wondering why, but Mitchell now back into the lead. Mitchell has the potential for a clean sweep here. Obviously, we're not in the third main event yet, but man, oh man, if he can make this happen. Still got to fend off from Leclerc, though. And Seabolt's really not too far back either. How about this charge from Bryce Whelan? First time we saw him, he was in about 14th spot. All the way up to 4th. Just got around for Zaka to get there. Man, oh man. Oh, Leclerc down again, so Seabolt goes through. And it looks like Mitchell just beat the line on the 12-minute mark. Just barely. So not quite white flag just yet in the second main event. But it will be coming soon. Whelan has the potential to end up on the podium in this main, but I think he'd need another mistake out of Leclerc. You can really see these ruts are starting to dig in. These guys going 12 minutes. The next 250 main event will also go 12 minutes, and the last 450 main goes 15 minutes. So white flag is about to come out for your race leader, Colton Mitchell. Looking to make it 2 for 2 here. Can he clean sweep the first round of the Triple Crown? Color me surprised. Definitely hasn't been quite there just yet at the first couple of rounds. Enters tonight 7th in points. Yes, he rode good those first 2 rounds. I'm not discrediting him, but I didn't see this level of performance quite yet out of Mitchell. And he's looking good. I mean, at this point, he's got to have a pretty bad last moto to let alone not even win tonight. Ooh, Leclerc continues to make small bobbles here and there. Whelan could still get him theoretically, like I said. We'll scoot back and see what exactly happens there. But up front, Colton Mitchell has fought through the field this time, and he's going to win main event number 2 in the 450 class. Seabolt right behind him will get second. Leclerc will hang on to third, and Whelan is down. I don't think he's going to lose a spot, though. Yeah, Whelan still gets across the line there in fourth, so Tiberino in fifth. Smith, wow, really good climb all the way back from the very back of the pack to sixth. Behind him, Mullins crashed out of the lead, went back to seventh. Cohn was up there as well. He goes back to eighth, and then a really close battle over the line between Smith and Frizaka. That one goes to, I'm sorry, Shipley and Frizaka. That one goes to Shipley. Armstrong, Simos, DeSalle, Rogers, Spinelli to the line with Blakely, and that goes to Spinelli. Burkeen and Holm together, which was not for position. Fresca is having a very rough go of it right now in the 18 spot. This is not your defending champion. It's not the same defending champion that we saw. That's for sure. He's a different man with this road, it seems. And if you guys give me just 1 second, I'm going to change the battery in my headphones. All right, main event number 3 for the 250 guys coming up here in just a moment. All right. Chapman leads on a score of 3 points to 8 by the looks of things. Really the only 2 close guys to him, because scores have been all over the place, are Janis and Leitzel, both on 8. Behind that, Gebhardt is on 13. Eaglin's on 14. And yeah, I mean, it's scattered. Devin Ryan's on 17. Tyler Lewis is on 18. It's kind of all over the board, like I said. So we'll see how exactly that goes. But it's the last 250 main event coming up here. I'm most likely timed out again. And I did. These guys again will go 12 minutes plus a lap. And this is their parade lap again. Oops. All right. So, who will win? It looks like Chapman. Well, it looks like it's Chapman's race to lose. So will he lose it, or will he hold on? All right, here we go. Final main event of the night from Anaheim. Let's take a look at Dominic Saulnier in the middle. It's actually not the final of the night. It's final for the 250 class. Main event number 3, gate is down. And it's a land rush again. Heckman nearly got there, but he gets put on the ground from someone sweeping around the outside. The whole shot goes to Devin Ryan. Devin Ryan there with Jonathan Hughes, Russ Chapman. That is Craig Leake also in the mix with, thought I saw Leitzel right there. Could be wrong. Oh, if it is Leitzel, he just got teed up by Doiron, and yeah, it was. Wow, that was bold from Trevor Doiron on the first lap. So Ryan leads from Hughes, Chapman, Leak. It's kind of all scattered up. Hughes just coughed up 2 spots as Chapman goes around. And Leak is trying to go with Chapman this time. Hughes into the back of Leak goes down. And Leak looks a little bit more fired up in this main event than he did in that last one. A 4th in the first main for Leak, followed by a 21st in the second main. So he's definitely not in contention for the win, but he still wants to get some good points. And again, it's your overall score that counts. So, oh, and he goes down. He could somehow keep this last moto pretty low. He might end up with like a 6th or 7th overall, judging by how things have gone. Devin Ryan is leading. Devin Ryan looking on a 14-3 score right now, so 17 total points. Add 1 to that, and he is on 18 total points. But Chapman is far and away going to win this event right now. 1-2-2 currently for Chapman. And he's sitting pretty for the overall, but he's looking for 1 better on the score sheet. He wants to get Devin Ryan for this lead and perhaps his final win. He's got a lot more time to do it, of course. 12 minutes plus a lap. So he's in no rush, pun intended. Behind that, Stefan Guido having a good ride, the Swiss rider. Finds himself in the 3rd spot with his teammate Sean Klein finally having a good main event. Right behind him. Seems like the good Sean Klein shows up for the last race of the night, which is good every other night except for the Triple Crown races. Unfortunately for him, 2 bad races to kick off the night. Sitting on 8-11. Look at all the teammates mixed right here. The ever good guys. Another day at the practice track. Klein, Leak, and Guido. Leak is looking to get back around Klein. Look at that. Unorthodox inside line. Doubles. He has the inside here. So that means he'll triple. The Klein, I mean, goodness graciousness. Those guys, the lines that those guys just took were so different from each other, and they ended up being kind of equal. I guess Klein's was a little bit faster. Guido's hanging right in with them. Janice entered this race 2nd on points, 2-6. Runs in 6th again. So 14 points. I mean, he could land on the podium very easily in this one. Not too often you see 2-6-6 get you maybe even 2nd overall on the night, but that's honestly a real possibility here. With how mixed up the scores have been elsewhere, I mean, 2-6-6 for 14 is pretty good. Could do even better, though. He's got 3 guys right in front of him. They're all teammates, granted, but could find his way up into 3rd. Meanwhile, Chapman has taken away the lead from Devin Ryan, and he is already starting to put it in cruise control out front. So the real battling is for positions back here, as Janice did make that move on Guido to move up to 5th. Guido's trying to fight back, has the inside line, will get it. Janice had no contest there. Janice tried an outside line. Guido protects the inside well, though, and with them comes Leitzel. So Leitzel, after getting teed up by Doiron in the 3rd corner, is making good headway through the field. These guys are all running a really good pace right now. It's crazy how wide open these guys leave the door to do that outside line where they double, but it is a little bit faster if you get it right. Janice looking saucy for an inside move on Guido. Almost contact, and Leitzel follows through. So Guido kind of a sitting duck there. Now Leitzel's going to get Janice as they go almost 3 wide into the corner. Oh, Janice is putting Guido off the track. And slipping through is Tyler Lewis. So Lewis comes through. Kind of out of nowhere as well, and Leitzel just gets a basically a 2-for-1. Kind of got that whole sequence perfectly. He followed Matthias Janice through when he made the pass on Guido. Oh, and then he runs into the back of Leek, who is just getting up from a crash by the looks of it. And so out of nowhere, well, Lewis almost got around everybody suddenly, but Janice still hanging on to the spot for now. I believe that is the 4th spot. Yes, it is. Chapman still leading from Ryan, Klein, and now Janice up to 4th. Lewis, Guido, and Leitzel going back to work behind them. Jordan Moxey also kind of in the mix, as is Craig Leak after that double fall off. This is a good battle, though. I kind of want to go on board with the Swiss rider, Stefan Guido here. He's tucked in nicely right behind Tyler Lewis. You can see Matthias Janice in that blue gear just ahead, that light blue, kind of a turquoise aqua gear. You can see the ruts are already starting to groove in. Fortunately enough for these guys, there's only really one long set of whoops this week, and you have a pretty straight run into it, so I don't think the whoops are getting too badly cupped out or any real big ruts in them anywhere. Oh, as Guido's about to get past. Oh, I thought Leitzel had a line. Could hear him. Ah, Leitzel. It's like things are going so well, he's flowing, and then he hits a wall. It's almost like the Barsha effect. Like Barsha's really, really good at, or like bad, I guess you would say, at riding well and then suddenly hitting a wall and doing 2 or 3 rhythm lanes consecutively bad. So Moxie has Gebhardt, your race 2 winner, tucked in right behind him. Gebhardt on a 12-1, looking at a 9 here, would put him on 22. Ooh, that's not going to help his case. So how did Jordan Moxie not get affected by that? That has to be a little bit of British lag coming into play. Leitzel is still working on Guido, and he might get him here. He's going to get the 3 on, but he cased it, so actually will not get him. And this is allowing Moxie to close in, so they got to be careful from behind. Oh, and a very, very kind thank you to Zach Dupuis, who just jumped in chat and showed up with a spreadsheet for the scoring. I've been doing it all by hand. This helps a little bit more. Man, oh man, Chapman. Ooh, what a force to be reckoned with this year. I at the beginning of the year, I felt like he maybe even wasn't the favorite given how many other guys, good guys, were mixed in this class. But, I mean, how can you bet against him now? Technically 5 main events in, if you count this one, and if he hypothetically wins this one, he only will not have one main event, but he actually will get max points from this in 26 points because he's going to win the overall here. So he's really won every round of the year. He just finished second in that second main event, and that's only been his only real chink in the armor. I think he might get the white flag next time by. It'll be very close. Solid ride for Devin Ryan, though. Got to give props to him after a terrible first race tonight to kind of come back, get a third that second one, get his confidence up a little bit again, and then get a start in this last main event. For a while, it looked like he could win it. Obviously, that kind of fell apart just a little bit, but still in the mix here as he is Magic Man or something. Yep. Real big lag bubble as Chapman did beat the time over the line. So we have 2 laps to go. Klein is still trying to get after Devin Ryan here, but he's up and over the bars on the tabletop. So Matthias Janis will come through. And man, oh man, Janis is going to walk away here with a solid 23 points as they run. Will Klein fight back? Will he have an answer to Janis making the pass on him? Things are still close as your race leader, Russ Chapman, takes the white flag. Janis holding protective lines, although I don't think he meant it to be protective there. He just took Klein's line away. It's not over yet. White flag coming out for these guys. Lap riders going down in front of them. Lappers still in front of them. I think that might be Heckman as Klein goes for the triple. Almost lands on Janis. They're losing precious ground to Devin Ryan. Neither of them really have a shot at him anymore. 4 seconds back. This battle is not over. Up front though, Russ Chapman, it was near perfect tonight, and he wins the 3rd round of the series, the 1st round of the Triple Crown. A 1-2-1 night for Chapman. Incredible. Devin Ryan looks to have second all but sewed up. Janis is still coming, as is Klein. Klein has an inside line on Janis. Does Janis get him back in the final corner? He gets the triple down the inside, cuts the track. Oh man. And Klein gets the spot. Leitzel got very close at the end. So actually, Leitzel, if cuts come into effect here, could get the second spot on the podium over Matthias Janis. Janis looking at 11, Leitzel looking at 12, I believe, or actually 12 and 13 respectively. So that could affect how things are seen. Moxie, Guido was the first guy lapped down, so Moxie's coming through, and cuts are in, and somehow, some way, Matthias Janis didn't get a lot of cuts for that last turn incident. Actually, it helped because Leitzel got the same amount of cuts, so it didn't matter. Rush Chapman, your winner, though, with a total score of 4. Chapman won 4-12. That's a big margin of victory in these Triple Crown races. That is nothing to sneeze about. But unlike the 250 class, we do still have a chance at a perfect night here. Coming up right now as Colton Mitchell has gone 1-1 in the 450 class. And quite honestly, there's not many guys that are close to him points-wise. Leclerc seems to be the guy closest on 7. Then maybe it's a tie for third. Smith and Mullins both on 9. I think the nod would go to Mullins there with a higher actual finish. All right, so final race of the night coming up. First of all, we have our parade lap as usual. Yeah, I'll show you guys my third-person camera setup real quick just because you asked for it. It was right there with my first-person stuff before. I run my FOV at 110, height at 5, and distance at 10. So that's the settings I run. I think it's default, honestly. If it's not default, it's very close to game default third person because I was kind of a noob when I started playing and didn't know how to change much of that stuff. Anyway. Alrighty. Final main event, and it's the longest one of the night, is on the gate. These guys are set to go for 15 minutes plus a lap. Who will win the first round of the Triple Crown Series in MX Simulator? The gate is down. And it's another big old land rush. And how did I pick Jack Haley to get a hole shot? When was the last time the 57 got a hole shot? Well, he's going to have to wait a little while longer as Tony Spinelli actually gets the hole shot. And Haley ended up kind of causing a big pileup. So it's a little spread out early. Spinelli, Tiberino, and Fresquez has a good start. So this will be the real true sign of what's the deal with Fresquez. If he can't run up front, this is going to be bad news for Fresquez. He has the good start. He has kind of the lead over the rest of the good guys. I mean, I know Spinelli and Tiberino are good, but really our championship contenders are all kind of mixed behind these two now. Wow, Tony Spinelli, triple digit dude in a 450 class, leads the first lap of the final main event here. Someone who's playing Pulp Max Fantasy, they would have just gotten 15 extra bonus points for picking him. Yeah, thank you, Zach Dupuy, jumping in chat, letting us know 250 results are in. Just a quick update on that. Your official podium is Russ Chapman first, Matthias Janis second on 12, and Logan Leitzel third on 13. So Spinelli still leads from Tiberino, and these guys are going at it out front, to be honest. They're kind of gapping Mullins even. This is a really good battle because they're both running about the same pace, and they're consistent enough that they're not losing ground. So Spinelli leads through for another lap, and Tiberino is still chasing. I don't want to cut away from this lead battle too much because they're so close. Anything could happen here. Tiberino's got a good run in this rhythm section. He looks to have a little bit better corner speed if I could pick out what is different between these two right now. I think Tiberino's getting in and out of the corners a little bit better, but he hasn't been able to really size up a pass just yet. I think he's waiting for Spinelli to maybe make a mistake. But goodness gracious, they're running so close together. Oh, and it cost Tiberino this time. I gotta be careful with that re-entry. Lands on Spinelli, loses the spot, and quite honestly, now we have kind of a real open scenario here as Mitchell is buried in 15th and Leclerc is in 3rd. So Leclerc is your provisional event winner at the moment. Mitchell needs to climb through the field a bit more. So Spinelli leads, Leclerc second. Mullins up to third now, around Tiberino, who had a little mistake there in the background. Mullins and Leclerc. Classic battle. The last guy not named Jesse Mullins to win a North America Pro Outdoor Championship is the guy he's chasing, Alexis Leclerc. You have to go all the way back to 2014 for Leclerc's outdoor title. That's so long ago. Start Your Systems didn't even exist that long ago. Tiberino gonna try to go back to work on Mullins. All these guys running a really good pace, but nobody's done anything yet about Tony Spinelli. He's kind of just cruising out front, to be honest. Hitting this quad every lap. Oof, landed a little deep in that corner, but still gets the triple out. Mullins into the back of Leclerc, dumps it. Mad Cape Rider ends up upside down in the berm, so Siebold and Armstrong squeak by. So now Leclerc back into second. He will be trying to run down Spinelli. So Mullins is going to have to go back to work now on Siebold as Armstrong has hit the deck. A couple riders going through. Fresquez was one of them. So it's not terrible yet for Fresquez, but he started with those guys and hasn't been able to do much with it yet. Still Tony Spinelli leading this thing. Man, oh man. Gonna get into Lapper soon though. That'll definitely shake it up a little bit for him. Already has the pressure of trying to lead the field in what is probably one of the deepest 450 classes we've had. I don't think we've ever had all of the single-digit riders racing in the 450 class at the same time. I touched on this last week in Houston. So that's kind of a unique scenario there. Leclerc is slowly reeling Spinelli in, but we know Leclerc can be prone to some late race mistakes. We saw it last week at Houston. Also had the potential for maybe a win there. A couple late crashes. Pushed him back in the field a little ways. Nearly 7 minutes in. We are nearing halfway that Tony Spinelli has led this race. And Tiberino's not giving up on Leclerc. Let's actually board with the number 77 machine. He is pushing hard. And honestly, it looks like he's running a little bit better of a pace right now. They have really dug out that inside rut before the triple. No. He is really closing in on Leclerc now. And your leader went down. Spinelli was he down with a lapper? Or did he go down by himself? I thought I saw a flash of green in there too. So Leclerc into the lead now, and Siebold goes into the 3 spot, but really it seems like the man on the move out front is Tiberino. Maybe we'll have Zach Dupuis jump into chat here in a second and give us an update on the current running order, but he did say that Tiberino seems to be a sleeper on 11 points right now, which is the case. So if he can win this thing, he would end up on 12, which would mean an 11th or worse out of Mitchell gives Tiberino a potential win here, which is insane, but I think he would need Leclerc to also finish. No, I don't know, but Tiberino's going to the lead. No, he's in the bales. He tried to quad to the outside of Leclerc, and that just has not been working. You have to quad to the inside as Leclerc gets hung up in the corner before the finish. So now Seibolt's coming in. Mullins trying to come with him. Tiberino, Fresquez, Rogers, Spinelli. Mitchell is up to the 9 spot now, 8 spot. So it looks like he may be kind of solidifying his status here. Although Leclerc 4-3-1 on 8, and Mitchell is 1-1-8, so Mitchell still has a ways to go before he can officially win this thing. Spinelli's got to be a little bit mad at himself, coughed up the lead. Keep hearing people to get an onboard with Mullins. I would if he was in a better battle, but he's not terribly close to Seibolt. He is battling up towards the lead though, so we'll stick on board with him for a bit. These guys are all really close together. That rut is really deep, and Leclerc is still going for it. These guys have started to venture outside of it, try to keep their momentum up. Oh, is that... Both your leaders are down, Leclerc! Oh, and Mullins tips over on him. So Seibolt landed on Leclerc, and Mullins was trying to get around both of them, and ended up falling off the bike himself. So now Tiberino trying to get around Simos here. Tiberino back in with a shot at going for the win, but he's got to get Seibolt, who won the opener, if you remember, back to Anaheim 1. So Tiberino still in with a shot. Leclerc losing hope, and holy cow, Colton Mitchell is in 5th. We still have about 5 minutes to go in this race, and it is not an unforeseen possibility that Mitchell could still get the sweep here as he moves into 4th as Mullins slides off the track. Fresquez is going to go by Mullins, so good turnaround ride for Fresquez, I think. I think this is a step in the right direction. Bryce Whelan wants to leave here with the points lead still, so he's trying to make do with what he can after a bad first race. A 12th in the first race. I believe he was 4th in the second. So Mitchell, Leclerc, Tiberino, I don't know. Seibolt is pretty far ahead of Mitchell. Oh, Tiberino down off the track, so Leclerc goes through. Now Mitchell is going to be pretty close to Tiberino, who's just getting back onto the start straight right there. Fresquez has Whelan still just right behind him. Look at Whelan carrying his momentum. Actually had a really good drive, but because Fresquez squared at the corner, he had to check up. We got a rider down up ahead, and it is not any of your leaders. Tiberino is still working on Leclerc, Mitchell, and Fresquez and Whelan. This would really honestly be a pretty dang good battle for the win if it wasn't for Seibolt up front, because these guys are all in a train about second on back to 7th or so. Now Tiberino is going back to work on Leclerc. These guys are really starting to dig that rut out before the finish as well. Go back on board with the 77 here as he tries to work on Leclerc. I think Seabolt's a little too far gone for anybody at this point. They need him to crash if they want a chance. But even that is no guarantee at actually passing him, because he could still get up with the lead. Ooh, little kick from Tiberino. I mean, I say little. That was actually quite a big one and quite a big save, but it's allowed Colton Mitchell into your frame here. So Mitchell may not win this last main event, but he is going to go for his lowest possible score. At the moment, he is definitely going to win the event, which would be his first career main event victory. Shoves it down the inside of Tiberino. Tiberino thinking twice about it, almost jumps off the track. And I will indeed go on board with Mitchell here, because this is a good battle between these guys. And Seabolt has got absolutely zero lap traffic to deal with too, so it could be pretty easy sailing for him. Mitchell down the inside has a line. Tiberino crossing over the track. Are you serious? How does he ride out of that? He got front end lock, so to be fair, I mean, it wasn't all hacks, but he landed on the back of Dominic Tiberino. Like, you can't land more on Dominic Tiberino than he did. And yeah, saved it. I don't know. I just don't know. Tiberino off the track though. So white flag out for Seabolt. Mitchell could still get Tiberino. Somehow Kevin Frazak has worked his way into the mix here. And he's battling Adam Holm and Tony Spinelli. So Mullins has hit the implode button, it seems. Mullins at one point could have even won this event. Fresquez, Whelan, they're all kind of struggling. Smith back there with them as well. But up front, Seabolt has remained pretty untouched this race since he's got into the lead. And looks like he's going to just cruise this one home. So we started the year in Anaheim with Seabolt winning, and we are leaving Anaheim with Seabolt winning the final main event in Angel Stadium this year. Leclerc will finish this one up in second, and probably second overall, but your winner, 26 points on the table, has been picked up. Colton Mitchell goes 1-1-3 to claim the first round of the Triple Crown at Anaheim. Spinelli in 5th. Holm is going to pick up a 6th, so actually a pretty good night for Holm. Whelan was in 7th, and Frazaka got by for 7th. Whelan just held off Blakely for 8th. Fresquez is going to get 9th in front of Mullins, or I'm sorry, 10th in front of Mullins. DeSalle is 12th. Rogers, Smith battling with Armstrong to the line and contact. Armstrong gets the spot, 14th for him. Smith in 15th, so Smith was having such a good night early on and it all fell apart. Holden Coat blazingly fast all night. Couldn't seem to stay off the ground though. Haskell, Haley, Williams, Shipley, DNF. No bueno. But again, your winner on the evening, Colton Mitchell on the 6, a 1-1-3 performance. Very well done for him. And that'll do it for us here live on SYS TV. I'm so glad you guys could join us. Again, be sure to check out all of our sponsors, and a huge shout out to VersusPC for sponsoring this live stream, this broadcast this year. Definitely go check them out. I know if you can't afford a whole new gaming computer, at least try out some of the parts. They'll hook you guys up there. And yeah, thanks for everybody to helping out on this series. Round number 1 of the Triple Crown is in the books. Round number 3 of the MotoOption Supercross Series is in the books. And I am out here on SYS TV. So for Kellen and just about everybody on SYS TV, Chris and well, Zach Dupuis helped out tonight, so him too. Everybody for helping out as always. And Moto Gogo, of course, a huge help out in the chat tonight. So glad you guys could join us. We'll see you guys next week for Phoenix. But so long from Anaheim.